Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Politics on AIG Media Pro TV. I am Ademiluyi. Nigeria is indeed in a very, very deplorable state. May 29, 1999, we returned to democratic rule after military ruling of almost 33 years. But from what we have now, our democracy is a bit threatened. It's no longer news what is going on between the former Chief Justice, or let me say the suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, and the federal government. So in the studio today, we have two outstanding analysts. On my left is Mr. Oladotun Hassan, who is the chairman of the NBA Association Lekki Forum, and also a candidate of the Alliance for Democracy, vying for office at the Etiosa constituency at the Federal House of Representatives. Am I correct?
Yes, the player.
Thanks for having you. Then on my right, we have Mr. Ademiluyi, who is also the secretary of the NBA Forum, NBA Lekki Forum. Thanks for having you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so let me start. It's no longer news with what is going on. And I am not a lawyer, but we've read so many things, we've heard so many things, and we have two parties to what is going on. Some say that what the president has done, President Muhammadu Buhari, is within what he should do. And some are saying that for a Chief Justice to be suspended, it has to be approved by the NJC and 2/3 of the Senate. What's your take?
Well, I believe quite unfortunate that alien democracy is yet to recover all this while, and very most unbelievable is the situation we find ourselves today, which is more or less defined as a coup against the judiciary. The coup is more or less like a palace coup, a premeditated agenda. Everyone knows that there are procedures for every situation, and when the rule of law has been abdicated, one finds himself inevitably applying rule of force. And the situation of the CJN is not the CJN as Mr. Onnoghen that we are talking about. It's about the institution, it's about the precedent that is being laid now. If it is allowed to survive, definitely it can't survive. That is another situation the executive is not so conscious about, that it is just a flash in the pan. It can't survive the test of time because
it's been like how many days now? It happened on the 25th.
Yes.
So Friday.
Yeah, because there is a legitimate there is a grand procedure for not removal, there are procedure before we even get to the stage of removal, either removal or suspension. The removal is not an a la carte that anybody will just wake up from one side of his bed and say, oh, by tomorrow let me conjure this and it happens. It can happen in a political party. Nobody hears a hoot. But when it comes to judiciary, there are procedure that guides that institution, and that's why it makes it a more independent arm of government. That institution that is over the highest controlling body,
okay,
or within the judiciary itself. We know the head of the judiciary is the CJN, but the highest controlling body of the judiciary now is the NJC, because that body itself holds every judge is accountable, including the CJN. Everybody is subjected to that committee, that council.
But in a situation, sorry to cut you, in a situation whereby the NJC is on their part, failing on their part, what happens?
The NJC have not failed on their part. In the time past, there are a lot of judges that have been whipped with big sticks. So the issues is that the procedure of you filing a petition, you must give room, adequate adequate room for fair hearing. You don't just bring up an issue without allowing the accused person a right to fair hearing and giving him an ample opportunity to defend himself. The enabling environment must be provided. In this circumstance, that ample
opportunity to defend himself, I think someone from the presidency has said the CJN is deliberately delaying his trial.
No, I wouldn't want to go that way, because one will preempt the nexus of the executive to be more in the east is more political than the procedural, than the real issues everybody's in terms. We are heading into the 2019 general election. Days, just less than 20 days now to the 2019 general elections, and we know the preemptive motive was manifested on the appointment of the acting CGN, in quote, Mr. Tanko
Mohammed.
So immediately was sworn in. The real motive was the aftermath. What is it? The election tribunal. That was a major assignment. So one will know that if you continue to lay our more politics in our judiciary, it will get to a time that the only hope of the common man, which is already slipping away right now, if care is not taken, if no salvaging interest is being governed by all stakeholders, including the legislature, the judiciary themselves, and the executive, there is a need for everybody to really down tool and ensure that we come together. If not, it's an inevitability for anarchy and war, because the situation we are right now is that we're having two CJN.
Okay, Odila, right there, let's hear from Mr. Ayo. What's your take?
The major gospel that the Buhari-led regime is canvassing in town, and which is gaining a lot of converts, is the fact that it is waging a war on corruption. And for a country where, according to World Bank reports, 1% of the population have over 90% of resources, and given the history that the Nigerian political elite have, we have a political elite that has held the country's resources by the jugular. So that gospel can easily sell. But if you now do a second review of that gospel, now the question that will naturally arise is that if you even believe, without not even fact checking the fact that the Honorable Justice Walter Onnoghen has deposits of dollars in his account, as the presidency is making us to believe, does that in any situation under the constitution or under the enabling law now warrant his removal as the Chief Justice of Nigeria?
Suspension.
It's a suspension as the purported suspension, the falsified suspension as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Now, the enabling law says on all fours, says no to that effect. Now, the procedure my learned friend was trying to refer to is a provision of section 292 of the Constitution that says if at all there is an infraction by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, because that office in itself is an elevated office, is more or less like the third principality, so to speak, within the state apparatus. Now, let's even assume without considering that personality commits an infraction, which is human. Under what procedure can it be penalized? So the provision went on to say, if the infraction is tantamount to a ground for removal, that person, such an officer as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, would be removed by an address by the President to the Senate with a 2/3 majority. Now, the scenario we're having on our hands is the fact that we have a Code of Conduct Bureau petition against the Chief Justice of Nigeria. There is a procedure for that also. Now, while a charge has been filed against the Chief Justice of Nigeria at the CCT, the presidency preempted the outcome of the processes, and in itself, by virtue of an ex parte order. What I mean by ex parte order is that an order that is not served, an order that was made based on an application that was not served on the other party, that the Honorable Justice Walter Onnoghen should on the basis of an unconcluded trial, on the basis of not being even heard in the first place. His defense has not even been heard. He has not even been given any. You should on that basis step aside. That's more or less a barrier of the substratum of natural justice, of fair hearing. In fact, more or less an attack on what the legal profession stands for, on justice, in the constitutional justice in this country. And if you beg me, a quick letter, a love letter to anarchy.
Thank you very much. We need to go on a quick break now. This is Lesser Politics on AIG Media Pro TV, and we have Mr. Oladotun Hassan, who is a legal practitioner, and we also have Mr. Ademiluyi, who is also a legal practitioner. Please don't scroll. Thank you. Welcome back. This is still Lesser Politics on AIG Media Pro TV, and we are discussing the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Mr. Walter Onnoghen. Mr. Oladotun, you were saying something, and I quickly wanted to chip something in. I think over the weekend, the senior special advisor on media to the president, Gabashew, said something about the timing. You know, you said it's politically minded, and he gave an example that if you catch an armed robber on a Christmas day, would you say because it's a Christmas day you will not prosecute that person?
Well, I believe it's an indictment on the SSA to the president. If so many armed robbers that were visually seen to be blind were being allowed to go unpunished, because if you look at the Babashir case, even at Kemi Adeosun, so many other infractions that is really within the precinct of the presidency, one would not be able to hold them more accountable to justice, because one would look at it as a primordial sentiment that is aimed on hypocrisy. Definitely, as a serious-minded nation, we cannot afford to embolden corruption. Corruption is more or less feasting and is being part of our system. Even the person fighting corruption is more corruptible to fight the menace. But where we are now is that for a due process to go through, what I will advise the presidency to do, withdraw these whole shenanigans that have cost us a lot of international embarrassment, that have even put us on spot, is to withdraw via nulli prosecute, because he still has the power. Now, what do we now do? There's no time wasting for you to fight corruption. Go through the normal due process. Even the NJC held an emergency meeting. The Chief Justice was not there. If it were to be the law, now, the act of the acting CJN purported, as at now, if the NJC is to even sit over the matter itself, the acting CJN too will go for it, because for submitting himself to this illegality itself is unlawful for him to have committed such an offense. Definitely, it will now go back to the next in line. What we expect is that let the NJC, let the petition, a formal petition, be addressed to the NJC against the CJN. The whole issue is a fact. We as NBA is not against the content of the petition. As far as we are concerned, we will love a clean bill of health for the nation, not just the judiciary, on the issue of corruption, whereby anything that will affect it should be cut off. And if the CJN is caught in the web, let him go for it. But the due process, if the due process have been followed by going to the NGs and they went into the media and said, okay, let us see, an investigation is ongoing, nobody will have been shielding anything.
Let's look at the subject himself, which is Mr. Walter Onnoghen. There has been several publications that, okay, he publicly owned up that he truly did not declare some of his assets. And I have listened to Femi Falana. He has said that under normal circumstances, knowing that you are in a very high position in the judiciary, and knowing that you should lead by example, what every right-thinking person will do is to step aside.
You see, just a little.
Do you agree with that?
I do not agree with that submission. Of course,
but again, if you don't agree, that is already a violation.
No. Just hold on. Ordinarily, ignorance is not an excuse in law. But if you look at the scenario that is playing out before our eyes, we are not holding brief for Honorable Justice Walter Onnoghen. But the reality is that, let's even assume without considering that he's just an ordinary person on the street, and possibly he or she is just walking on the street and they say, oh, young man or young woman, you stole so A, B, C, or D, or as the case may be. And they say, oh, what you are telling me, or what you are alleging me of, I think I have it, but I don't know I have it. That in itself is a suspicion. Now, what is called law starts from the point of fair hearing. That, okay, let's even give this young man or young woman opportunity of being heard. Oh, did you do this or you did not do this? Did you make this statement or did not? Let's reconcile. Let's connect back to the scenario we are examining. Let's assume without considering. Let's even agree without considering that to the arguments to the scholars of that particular school of thought that you are canvassing, that of course the TJN on being confronted with that
should have stepped aside
with that position and say, oh, I want to do this, but I did not do it. Now, what that means is that the statement he has made is in itself a statement that now be examined upon what. Oh, did you, based on the CCC trial and the open against him, he has the opportunity of now making his case. Why did you not do this? And remember that in any event, the CCT itself is a quasi-criminal court. It's not a court that is clothed with full criminal jurisdictional powers. So it's not a court that can say, oh, on the basis of what A, B, C, D, and E, and F, oh, this number of years of imprisonment will be given to you. It's a criminal disciplinary court. It can recommend for further criminal prosecution and all of that, given the provision of the constitution. So the major crime, I will put it as a crime, of the President Muhammadu Buhari led federal government is the fact that it has attacked the principle of national justice, fair hearing in this given scenario, and the threat that underlies for all of us, especially for we lawyers, because the bedrock of our profession itself is fair hearing. If there's no space for fair hearing, then why should we be lawyers?
But with what is going on now, looking at it holistically, you said the other time that it's not possible for us to have two justices.
Two chief justices.
Definitely.
Do we have two chief justices?
Yes, we do. We do now, because at the moment, the Mr. President brought us into this quagmire. He would have allowed the rule of law to play itself to the fullest. But having been too in a haste, the NJC, that is the modus operandi of regulating the institution, is yet to come out with any position on either, as far as the suspension is concerned now. We, the lawyers, the NBA National, have condemned it. We are even on a boycott of courts for 2 days. That is to show our grievance, but it's not enough. Doing all that without the real issue being dealt with, because as at the moment, if the procedure that brought Onnoghen before the CCT, that procedure has been faulty ab initio. Anything that comes out of that procedure, that is why Onnoghen can never appear before that court, because there is an issue of jurisdiction. When the court lacks a jurisdiction, it goes to the root. And there is even a court of appeal ruling that have suspended the CCT from further action. So any action that might have come out of that CCT trial is, as far as we are concerned now, is an ultra virus. Whatever appointment Mr. Tanko have done now within the short period of time is an effort in futility, because at the end of the day, we'll go back to Onnoghen as a substantive CJN. There will ever report, because now there have not been any petition before the NJC. The NJC cannot sumoto begin to roll out based on the public opinion and the matter. A proper petition must come before the NJC now, if truly the federal government is serious. So whatever it is now, that's why I was telling you about the implication. The consequential implication is that if the NJC,
what implication does it have on our democracy?
If the NJC, well, the most risky implication is that it's going to adversely affect the 2019 general election.
In what way quickly?
Because one, if the entire electoral petition committee is being annulled by the NJC, and the acting CJN is being penalized for that action, at the end of the day, the new CJN, definitely, if he comes on board back and he has little room to a petition is being submitted, then if a petition is not yet submitted, it will still be in his capacity. But at that moment, except anything good is done, definitely if he inaugurates the same committee or there is no political infraction, we might be left with a zero judiciary to handle post-election trial.
Let me add a little to that. Ordinarily, the NJC as a body has now been disarmed by that preemptive presidential action. But even as it is, it's more or less the consequential effect is the fact that the independence of the judiciary to act is in itself being threatened. Now, he has made a mention of the 2019 general election. Now we are now seeing another reflection of the overall effect of the scenario we have now on 2019 general election in terms of what we call the national question. If you look at it in the past successive general elections that Nigeria has had, the national question always blow out over and over. What we mean by national question is the issue of the ethnic imbalance and all of that. Now the Buhari regime has deepened through that action the boiling national question, and it's going to have effect on the election. It's going to cast a bad spell on that election. The electorate will go into that election with a background that a section of the country is being. I'm not justifying that argument, but it's a deep-seated problem that the country has always had from independence. So it's deepening all those tensions and driving the country, unfortunately, towards the brink.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ayo Ademiluyi. Thanks for coming. And Mr. Oladotun Hassan, thank you so much. That's all we can take for today on Let's Talk Politics on AIG Media Pro TV. Please join us next time for another episode.